this is something that we don't know what is going on, but everybody is talking about this. Whether or not you're fans of Savannah Guthrie, I would encourage you to pray for the safe return of her mother, Nancy. Nancy has been disappeared for 5 days or something like that. It has been way too many days, and it's usually by this point that you know that what has happened to the person. People are saying that why is every outlet, this is a kind of a distraction. Well, in fact, I have been myself, people have criticized me. Why are you covering this? You should be covering the Epstein files. I've been covering the Epstein files for 5 days, indeed. And yes, maybe we can address this. I had seen this case in 2 days ago, and I said, well, maybe I can wait a couple days. Maybe Nancy appears safe and sound. That's what we want. But then I began looking at the, let's say, the rabbit hole of what this is. Not only, those blood stains at the front of the house, we're going to talk about them, but that video that they released about ransom notes that we don't know if they are legit. So this is I mean, a bit concerning. Just to catch up with this, on Saturday, January 31st, Nancy Guthrie, 84, last seen when dropped off at her Tucson area home by family after dinner. She's 84 years old, and she lives alone in a crazy, ass huge house. Okay, not gonna judge. Some people like to live that way, but okay, I guess. Sunday, 1 or 2 a.m., her pacemaker sends its last signal, narrowing the likely abduction window to early morning while she slept. Investigators believe she was taken against her will and driven away. That doesn't mean that her pacemaker stopped. That means that it was no longer connected by Bluetooth to her phone, which was left behind. Her phone, her car, her purse, there was no robbery, there was no nothing. It was left behind. There was lost the connection of the Bluetooth connection between her pacemaker and her phone. So that connection was lost at around 2 a.m. Sunday, February 1st, family alerted after she fails to appear at church. Relatives check her home and find signs of possible abduction. Yep, she was very regular. One thing is that Nancy also had this difficulty moving, but she was regular at church. And when she did not appear, people were saying, okay, what happened to her? So at noon, family reports her missing to authorities. Search begins with concerns over her need for daily medication. And it was on Sunday, and we are in Thursday right now. So I thought that it was time to cover this. No major developments reported in the immediate hours following the report. But one thing is for certain, that even if people are saying that even if Savannah Guthrie has criticized Trump in the past, it really doesn't matter. Trump made sure I spoke with Savannah Guthrie and let her know I am directing all federal law enforcement to be at the families and local law enforcement's complete disposal immediately. We are deploying all resources to get her mother home safely. The prayers of our nation are with her and her family. God bless and protect Nancy. President Donald J. Trump. And again, people are asking, why is it so important that so many people disappear all over the United States? And I don't have the hard numbers, but I can imagine that after 48 hours, you pretty much already, usually, after 48 hours, I don't remember what is the kind of alert. I think it was an Amber Alert when somebody's missing. I don't remember. Usually, after 48 hours, you already know what has happened to people, or they come back or something. A lot of people disappear, but it's kind of unusual that you don't know anything about them 5 days after the fact. So I guess that's why it's happening. So here we have Savannah Guthrie did an exclusive interview with 6 Epstein victims in 2019. I think I remember this one. I don't know if she was the one. I thought I had. No, I didn't cover this one back then. I was not making videos in 2019. Well, Kash Patel personally. Okay, thank you for this. Amber Alert is for minors. Silver Alert silver alert. Thank you, Storm the Sky, and thank you, Air Dry. Is for the elderly, right? Um, Cash Patel is personally going to Tucson, Arizona to look for Savannah Guthrie's kidnapped mother. So, yeah, people are saying, why is she getting this preferential treatment? I am not the one to judge, but I would say that this is a very public case. Let's talk about the blood stains. And I have some experience with the blood stains and a couple of things. This is the entrance to Nancy's house. And you can see, so many people have noticed that the Ring camera, these cameras that you have on your front door that see everything that is happening around, is missing. The Ring camera is missing, and no, it was not synchronized to any other device or to the cloud. It seems that it was not synchronized to the cloud. Remember, Nancy, 84 years old, was living alone at her home at a huge house. So it's not like it was easy for her to update these devices or anything. This is important to notice. But I want to point out the blood stains. And one thing that we can tell from the blood stains is that they have next to zero kinetic force or movement. You see that there's a drop, and the drops are pretty much circular. You see that is a drop that is falling basically like this way, like 90 degrees into the ground. So, if what does that mean? That means that if you had, for example, if the person was moving, okay, and it's bleeding, and it's moving quickly or with certain speed, then you would see like a very tiny shape of the drops in the direction they were moving. So from this, few conclusions can be made, but the first one that I immediately thought, okay, first, luckily, at least two, what it seems to me, this is not a life-threatening wound. Okay, this doesn't look like a life-threatening wound at all. And she was walking, if this is her blood, right? She was walking really slowly. This seems to be this is the kind of confusion that we have. I thought at first that this was splatter, but you see that there's this color here. This is like brownish, and you see this more like the color of blood. So that is important, because people are saying as well, I need you to look at this, the difference in this spots here. Okay, you have the blood spatters here. Okay, this is a drop of blood. Okay, just they also look like nosebleed drops. All right, they can also look like nosebleed drops. But again, we're talking about an 84-year-old lady. What kind of I don't know struggle would have been to take her out of the house? Maybe she struggled, but yeah, maybe she struggled. Maybe she broke her nose, or they broke her nose, whoever brought her. But this is a bit, many people have this confused. Because you see here, like this spot, you see the circles, right? And people are also saying that this kind of splatter is also blood. And I digress. These are two completely different sets of stuff. And my idea is that this is not blood. What you see, imagine that the brush they use to brush your teeth. Imagine that you use red paint, and imagine that you begin to scrape your toothbrush, and you have that pattern on or water, or maybe you're brushing your teeth. You play with a toothbrush, you will have that pattern in there. That doesn't look like something like blood that dripped into the floor. This is blood that dripped into the floor and remained there, and you have the classic asymmetry of the circle, like when you leave a mug of coffee, a coffee mug, and you notice that the circle that the coffee mug leaves is asymmetric. Okay, but this, I don't think this is blood. I don't think this is blood. This could be dirt. This could be anything else. In fact, we have spots here that are way too dark to be blood. And notice the difference. This is important. The difference between this red, okay, coagulated blood, and this is almost black. That's why I'm saying that this looks more like dirt or something on her front porch, but that is not actual blood. These spots are blood. It's something that I need to tell you. I find blood spatters and blood spatters investigation fascinating, and always love that I can say those words. But you know that I'm that kind of guy. People are saying there's a reward for any information leading to the arrest of the person or persons involved in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, and the reward is $2,500. Okay, yeah, you know that Savannah Guthrie's net worth is $40 million, so I'm not going to comment on this, but I'm already commenting on this. But that sounds a bit low. If your net worth is $40 million, that sounds a few low. And yes, I went to the site 88crime.org, and this is legit. It says reward up to $2,500. I checked like half an hour ago. I guess that's still it. We have to see this this video, and you need to notice the size of the house that Nancy was living in. It's a huge house, has a pool. You notice that there's a lot of vegetation around. This was in Phoenix, Arizona. If I'm not mistaken, it's in Arizona. And yes, there was a lot of opportunity to people to just reach out to the house, to get closer to the house, and nobody would notice. You notice that the closest neighbor would be blocked by a lot of greenery in there. So let's watch this.
Savannah Guthrie, the sheriff, telling CBS News he believes she was abducted from her home in the middle of the night. Our Jonathan Vigliotti is there and spoke with the sheriff just moments ago. He joins us now. Jonathan, good evening.
And Tony, good evening to you. The sheriff confirming that Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home behind me while she was asleep. They found inside life-saving medication and her cell phone. They're now combing through surveillance video. At one point, the sheriff getting emotional as he worried they were running out of time.
Yeah, thank you for the this Cactus Star. Tucson, Arizona, not Phoenix. So
tonight, the Pima County Sheriff tells CBS News that he believes the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother was an act of foul play.
Is it fair for me to characterize this as an abduction?
I believe she was abducted, yes. This is an 84-year-old lady who, in the middle of the night, while she's asleep, is taken from her home.
84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was last seen around 9:45 Saturday night when family members dropped her home.
Some of you are asking, why is everybody talking about this? Well, it's an 84-year-old lady, which of course everybody has had a grandma that you care for, and that is concerning. And again, the circumstances of this make no sense whatsoever. I think that is one of the reasons why so many people are asking questions about what is going on.
Then on Sunday morning, a friend called Guthrie's children, telling them their mother had not shown up for church. They then notified the sheriff's department around noon that day after not being able to find their physically ailing mother.
She is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there.
Sheriff Chris Nanos says finding Guthrie is crucial because she relies on daily medication.
Okay, that is the kind of things that I don't understand. How do they work? She has a lot of trouble even walking, 50 steps, but how does she go to church on her own every Sunday? Again, but I'm just asking questions to because I can imagine, okay, she's got this disability, only physical disability, not mental disability. She is mentally sound. But if physically she has trouble, how come she can't go to church on her own? Okay, I guess that she hops into her car and then she goes to church. Maybe she has a bit of trouble. Just asking these questions because I remember that most important thing is to imagine everything that you hear. Imagine everything to the step. Imagine Nancy going to church. Imagine Nancy being alone in that huge house, which again, people are blaming her children for, or her sons and daughters for, just allowing her to live alone there. And I know many people that are just like that. I want to live at my house. I don't want to live anywhere else. I want to live by myself. And I think we can't blame anybody that wants to live like that. But it's important, as you mentioned, Maureen, Cheshire, carers. Maybe somebody could care for her. That would have been important. That would have been important, not have her alone. Just literally alone at that house.
I mean, the clock is literally ticking. It's been more than 24 hours since she disappeared. Are you concerned that it may be too late before she is found?
Well, we don't want to go there. Look, we just want to find her.
And officials say this is not a case of someone suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia.
Sharp as a tack. Her mental faculties are there.
Over the years, Nancy Guthrie has made regular appearances on the Today Show.
Love you, Mama.
And she's talked about how much her mom has meant in her life.
The greatest gift my mother gave me was faith and belief in God. It changed my whole life.
The sheriff says they've received more than 1,000 leads, and he hopes security camera videos will help with the investigation.
How is the Guthrie family doing?
They just want their mom home.
Yeah, I can guess it can be really heartbreaking. This is the thing that I don't get. You have here, for example, this is the locations of Nancy's house. Every single major intersection around that Tucson neighborhood has traffic cameras. Whoever kidnapped Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy, had to be seen in any way or another. But we have another problem as well. You have that huge house. You must have some security besides the ring camera right on front, right? Well, it turns out that Nest cameras on the property were smashed, with the back door found wide open and blood present inside and outside the home. Authorities have confirmed the presence of interior and exterior cameras, and footage from these systems is under review by investigators, including forensic analysis with assistance from tech companies. So, some people have noticed that specialists with equipment to recover footage, to recover hard drives are on the scene. It seems that it has to do with the cameras. But whoever did this, they knew where the cameras were. They were familiar with the house. They were familiar with the house. And if Nancy lived literally alone, we need to check if somebody ever, I don't know, went cleaning or something, or who did this and for what? Yeah, it's the single most important question is why? Why did they abduct this lady? Why apparently there are ransom notes that have not been confirmed. We're gonna see the video of Savannah with her brothers, her brother and sister, to address this. But meanwhile, first, this is the thing. First, it was reported, thanks to Illinois on X. First, it was reported that her children dropped her off. Then it changed to her family. Then it changed to last seen by her eldest daughter, Annie. Did anyone from the family who arrived at the home make an attempt to view the security camera footage? Isn't that something you can usually connect to via a computer or even your mobile device? Because that's another thing. Okay, your mother could be living alone at her house, but if she has security cameras, you can 100% have those security cameras connected by the internet to a server in which you could see what's happening at every time and even rewind what has happened. So how come somebody enter in the middle of the night and no camera pick up this person? They don't have any clue, have no idea. That's the thing. I think are the reasons why so many people can connect dots, this kind of dots, and so many people say that there's so many strange details about this that don't make sense. Sheriff says they still haven't been able to view the footage due to legalities and it not being available on a cloud. Then goes on to talk about how all the tech agencies are working with them. Google, Meta, Weird. Yeah, it seems that there were no cloud backup of whatever was in Nancy's home camera. Miss Savannah Guthrie's siblings, including sister who was last to see mom before she was taken. So It was the eldest daughter, then was her family, then was whatever, and there's also another more declarations about from this guy.
But I believe what happened there was it at 9:45 in the evening, her children left her off. At some time earlier that morning, they got a call from somebody at the church who said, "Hey, your mom's not here." The family went to the house. I'm thinking they spent some time looking for her themselves before they called us. So I'm guessing maybe they got there around 11.
Okay, what? Wait, wait a second. What?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I need to rewatch this.
I'm thinking they spent some time looking for her themselves before they called us. So I'm guessing.
Oh no, I'm posting this because this doesn't make sense. Okay, what he just said doesn't make sense. I'm gonna tell you why.
I'm thinking they spent some time looking for her themselves before they called us. So I'm guessing
they spent some time looking for her. I'm gonna tell you, if I arrived at home and anybody with I don't know, an ounce of half a brain, common sense, you arrive and you see that they have broken into the back door, and the front door has blood on the porch and blood inside the house as well. I wouldn't spend some time looking for in this case Nancy. I don't know. It's like I would call the police immediately. I can't imagine somebody spending time. Okay, let's look for a missing person. No, you see blood. Instead that if you see the house that is empty, and you see that the phone is there, but the house is empty and has not been broken into, and you see no blood, it makes sense. Okay, before I report that my mother is missing, I'm going to look for her. But if you see that this is her car, her purse, and her phone, there's blood on the entrance, and they have broken into. What are you waiting for? I don't know. I see this guy. Immediately. I don't know if that is true, but what he said makes no sense. What he said makes no sense, and even makes less sense the fact that they were treating this as just a disappearance, but now they are making this perimeter with police line, do not cross. They're treating it as a crime scene several days after this happened. This is a problem. They're treating it like a crime scene several days after this has happened. So I think these are part of the reasons why this has become everybody talking about this. Just in case, you're gonna pick very quickly here on my X account, just to say if there are any recent developments. If you see any recent developments, just let me know. Okay, so crime scene tape goes back up outside missing Nancy Guthrie's home as FBI deploys hostage negotiators to family hostage. Okay, so there's somebody demanding things. So Sheriff Chris Nanos stated that at least one of the notes contained, because there have been more than 5 ransom notes, not left in the house, but sent to TMZ and other outlets. At least one of the notes contained information that was concerning because it described specific aspects of the residence and Nancy's clothing, details that typically only someone involved in the abduction would know. They demanded for a substantial amount of Bitcoin, all right? And the notes allegedly included a deadline for payment and a threat of harm if the demands were not met. But none of this has been confirmed. None of this has been confirmed, and we have the video. It's time to analyze the video. Just gonna make a quick pause before analyze this. Because, some of you are arguing that this is a distraction from the Epstein files. It's not in my channel. I have been covering the Epstein files every day in detail and making sure that we get the story straight about this. making sure that we get the story straight about Epstein. And in this case, well, let's take a look at this. I have not watched this video, by the way. Okay, time to begin. So Savannah Guthrie just posted this video on Instagram, basically addressing whoever took away her mother. I have to tell you that I have not watched this video. This is the kind of stuff that I like to, do a blind run with you. Okay, just add the video to my software here. I don't watch it because I want to react it with you. Maybe you can help me in the live chat as well. One thing that people have pointed out and included in the thumbnail of this show is the Annie Guthrie, the eldest daughter, is smiling right before Savannah Guthrie talks. This is right at the beginning of the video. You see that she has this face, and then she changes her face immediately. Okay. Okay, that was odd. Okay, but besides that, let's watch this in one pass. Let's see what they have to say, and make sure to put some kind of more brightness for me, and let's play this.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain.
Okay, I have to say that I didn't know that the sister was going to speak as well or read as well, and yeah, the way that she reads is basically not what I expected at all, but that's my first impression.
And grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media.
We too have heard the reports of a ransom letter in the media. Right? So the letter is legit or not?
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. please reach out to us.
So they haven't reached out to them. So the ransom notes are bogus then, is what I understand. Am I missing something?
Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom.
Okay, as some of you are mentioning in the comments, like, it is your mom, it is about making the victim human to the abductor. You have a point. Some have said this, that this kind of videos are made, before I give you my impression, I'm going to comment on this. This kind of videos are made to, for the abductor to realize that, oh, he kidnapped a human being, that a grandma that has grandchildren, and she is fierce and strong. I don't know if I'm being too cynical here, but don't you think that somebody who literally kidnaps 84-old lady in the middle of the night from her house, and there's blood and stuff, you think that they're going to maybe change their mind if you have a recording on Instagram saying how great is she? I don't know. I have real doubts about how efficient can that be. Now this is the thing that I didn't know. I told you I haven't seen this video. I'm seeing it with you for the first time. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. She says so. The ransom letters are not legit. And we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. So I don't know. Are they implying that somebody sent a recording or anything? We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen.
So, at some points, they're addressing Nancy directly, but at this point, she's addressing the abductors, whoever they are, and saying, we are ready to listen. So they need a kind of a proof of life that Nancy is alive. From the first thing that comes to my mind is they spoke for, how long is this? How long is this video? Let me just measure this. How long is it? It's less than 4 minutes. My question is that many of you are asking on the live chat, what was the need to read this? What was the read to read this? Because this is something that you know what it's going to say. You're going to describe somebody who has been with you literally your whole life, and you're going to just mention a couple of things that are part of the investigation, and that you're ready to, and you're saying that we want to make it clear about, I don't know, if law enforcement redacted this and told them to read these papers, well, it's a very, very bad look. I am sad to say that. I know that it's not the right moment to talk about optics, but this doesn't look good, especially the way Savannah looks like she is sitting, like leaning forward. Okay, her brother looks way more stoic, but let's say that her sister is like. I don't know. I would say that disengaged. It could be about, I don't know, it could be trauma. It could be that she's trying to process what is going on. But I see Savannah's attitude with this. Even if they are reading, I think that I would have told them to just speak freely for 4 minutes and maybe, I don't know, do more than one take if you don't feel bad. Why? Because precisely the point is, let's see the point. The point is making the victim, in this case Nancy, human, so the abductors can connect with her. Oh, right, we made a mistake. You're aiming for something that is like 1 in a million shot. Okay, I can understand that. But precisely, if you want to portray your mother as human, maybe reading from a piece of paper something that is so stale, and especially the way that her sister spoke this, completely destroys that intention. This sounds forced and even unnecessary. I mean, this simply doesn't help. That is, again, my opinion. You could say that it is too early, but it is not too early. This is 5 days after Nancy was abducted. And again, when I was surprised when I heard her sister talking or reading, because I don't know.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain.
I mean, yeah, you could have said exactly the same, not reading out a paper. Made the exact same video. Just speak about your mother. Just talk about your mother. Should be really easy. But make it as you want to portray your mother as authentic, as unique. You don't read from a paper. That is simply not a good thing. Again, it would have been much more authentic. Maybe even the sister would have been more spontaneous. I guess that I don't know why the brother decided not to speak. Maybe he was not comfortable reading from a piece of paper. I found that a bit odd. But he decided not to participate in this. But it is still tragic. We're 5 days into this. I don't know. There are other things that people are pointed out. Annie Guthrie, this is the eldest daughter, seen leaving her home with a federal agent. It is normal to interview family, especially on day 1 and even day 2, obviously. But is it normal for this to happen approaching day 4? Again, that's what I tell you. This is why people are talking about this. Nancy Guthrie case. It makes sense the officers would interview Annie Guthrie and her husband, Tommaso Cioni, but it was day 3. I would have believed if there was no Rob that by now interviews would be over pertaining to immediate family. Okay, so questions. People pointed out, like Chili Noise again pointed out, Annie Guthrie says she's an oracular writer. In modern pagan, Wiccan, or occult communities, some practitioners use oracles as part of their practice and may self-identify as witches. Okay, I have no way to prove anything with that, but I just thought it was important to mention out there. This is interesting, they were investigating. This is a guy who had a drone, who had been taken and filming, and they were investigating inside Nancy's garage. There's her car, all right, and they were investigating. I guess that they were maybe looking for some kind of maybe servers or computers who could have some kind of footage of the cameras. That's the other thing that I could think about, because what else could they be searching for in the garage? I have no idea. I really have no clue. So many things that don't fit in here, but they were looking around her garage. Also have this update. Investigators now focusing a lot of attention on a particular room inside Nancy Guthrie's home with latex gloves, taking photos and removing several boxes of items. I guess that could have been the main bedroom. maybe where she was sleeping. She was abducted. Only thing that I don't know. Maybe it's a main bedroom. I think that there's no way to tell what kind of room was that. And yeah, there were. See, I don't know why they are seeing boxes. I don't see any boxes. There are other things. Let's say circumstantial things. What Tracy is saying here is important. Look at the man with Savannah Guthrie. See how he's gently touching her shoulder and staying behind her. This is Savannah. This is a man, and okay, he is usually when you're posing for a picture. Again, this can be nothing, but this also caught my attention. When you're posing in a picture, usually men are bigger and taller, and we stand at the back, right? And you see that this man makes sure to stand behind, because if he stays in front, okay, he would be like basically blocking most of Savannah. But then you see here Nancy's son-in-law, and who is kind of big and tall, posing for the picture, and he was basically he could have done exactly the same, but behind his mother-in-law. And no, he was almost blocking her, almost pushing her. And I saw that as odd. I'm going to flag that, not even a yellow flag, but I would flag that as odd. Was really strange. Oh, that is her husband, by the way. Yeah, that's another thing that people are saying. Oh, her husband was mentioned in the Epstein files. As far as I have checked, it's not that he was mentioned in the Epstein files. It was somebody mentioned the company that he works for. Okay, that's just a passing mention that maybe you should work with this guy. But we have a couple more things to address about this, both of them, because he also has ties to Bill Clinton. Okay, something is fishy here at Annie Guthrie's house. This is another video. Let's see what this video is about.
Annie and her husband, Tommaso. Our cameras are there, and our team there has witnessed those agents come out of that home, put certain items from the home into the back of their SUV, and have now just returned inside the home of Annie Guthrie and her husband Tommaso. Now, they are believed, by the way, to be the family.
Okay, they were the last ones to see Nancy, by the way. So again, this was the latest development. This was from yesterday. Savannah Guthrie's brother-in-law was the last person to see Mom Nancy before she vanished. Okay, all right. Crime journalist Ashley Banfield reports that Savannah Guthrie's brother-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, is considered the prime suspect in her mother's abduction. By the way, his car was taken away by law enforcement. His car was taken away for the investigation. Also, dogs were brought to the house to see if they could smell anything. So this is so odd. This is so odd. By the way, this is the reference to Bill Clinton that I was mentioning. Savannah Guthrie's husband is Michael Feldman, a corporate consultant and founding partner at the communications firm Fiji Ace Global. The Fiji Ace Global was passingly mentioned in the Epstein files, but not involved in anything. Why don't you call these people? They are good at their job. That was it. As long as I've been able to check. I don't know if something else has popped up. His professional ties to Bill Clinton stem from his early career in Democratic politics, where he worked on Clinton's 1992 presidential campaign staff. Feldman then spent 8 years as a political aide in the Clinton-Gore White House, serving in roles such as Deputy Director of Legislative Affairs to Vice President Al Gore. Again, people are saying that maybe the timing looks odd, that we have the Epstein files. Bill Clinton is going to actually have this sworn testimony very soon at the end of February with Hillary, and they want cameras and they want it to be everybody to watch it. And this happens, I don't know, again, it's just one clue, doesn't mean anything, but I think it was worth mentioning. Spaz Baby, someone said their dad lives in the same area as Savannah Guthrie's mom, and his dad's house was broken into a sheriff came and secured the door and told him to get a gun. This was somebody whose dad, somebody else, a comment on YouTube, whose dad lives near Nancy. My 93-year-old dad lives in the same area. 8 nights ago at about 10 p.m., the back porch motion light went on. There was a Hispanic man snooping around, and he tried to get into the sliding glass door, and my dad yelled at him to get away, and the man ran off. The sheriff came and secured the house and told my dad to get a gun. So he did. I think there might have been another man with this man, and they were looking for an easy way in. The scary thing is the lights and TV were on. This man knew there was someone in the house. I think my dad was targeted because of his age. My dad wears an emergency button 100% of the time, praying they find her. Again, we're talking about Tucson, Arizona, and this is, a lot of stuff going on there. Based on historical reports and data regarding organized crime and cartel activity, Arizona, but in this case Phoenix, has frequently been cited as having high numbers of kidnappings for ransom in the United States. Mainly from Mexican drug cartels, which again is another possibility. We can't possibly know. And this is basically the last slide of this incident. Not sure the validity of this claim, but nobody seems to want to talk about Nancy Guthrie and her son-in-law, Mike Feldman. Mike worked for the Clintons as a political consultant for 8 years, and suddenly his mother-in-law disappears from her home right before the Clintons testify. Mike worked for a Glover Group that was started by Joe Lockhart, who was Clinton's press secretary. Glover Park Group is now ran by an Epstein, and is owned by FGS Global. Do these dots need to be connected? I pray they find Miss Guthrie safe and sound. We pray for that. Again, I can absolutely understand. There are so many angles to this. We want Nancy back. We want her back and safe and sound. And I can understand why so many people are talking about this. 5 days into, and sadly, it's a reality that the more days pass, the odds of finding the person, especially somebody who has a limited mobility and she needs medications, and the medications were left behind. This is not looking good. This is not looking good, and of course, that is the reason why every single hour counts, and this is why I guess that Trump told Kash Patel to take these matters into his own hands and try to do this. Of course, so much suspicious things. Even 5 days into this, after watching the video, I think the thing of the reading from a paper was a mistake. I think it was a mistake. But again, I would love to know what do you think about this in the comments. You might be interested that I'm going to send this to my Crime Corner channel. I don't have okay, yes, this is Crime Corner here. I have a channel on YouTube dedicated to research, investigation about true crime. I also put in there body cam footage as well, reaction to body cam footage. So make sure that you look for the Crime Coroner on YouTube. That is my channel that I will be following up, and I will be inserting this topic in there. But let me know, what do you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Crime Coroner. Much love and